Greetings, my friend.
Let's watch a horror movie. Fall is the best time of year. Everything's gonna die and fall off the trees. Not everything. I hope not everything dies. That would be bad for all of us. Fall is the best season. If summer is your favorite season, you are wrong. And you live in the sun, and you like the heat, and you like sweating, and I like when the breeze smells nice and pumpkin spice is back. The line was all the way around Starbucks, so I'm not the only excited one. You can wear hoodies and jackets. That's my favorite clothing. I have no sense of style, but I love hoodies and jackets. There's corn maces. Yeah! It's corn. Corn mazes. And there's also scary movies. And everyone loves scary movies. That's not true at all. A lot of people don't like scary movies even a little bit. I love horror movies. They are quite often way funnier than comedy movies. You got cheesy acting, bad special effects, very low production budget. It's perfect. Everything about it is perfect. But I love Halloween the holiday, and I love Halloween the movies. But there are an awful lot of classic horror movies that I've never seen. There are a lot of them. Friday the 13th, never seen it. Nightmare on Elm Street, never seen it. Silence of the Lambs, I saw it when I was way too young to see it, and it probably has something to do with my sense of humor nowadays, so that's good. I'm finally willing to branch out. This Red Bull is in the shot. Oops. I picked a super goofy horror movie to start off with, and it's a movie I wouldn't even have thought was horror if it wasn't suggested to me under the horror category. I remember being in junior high or even before that, and kids were talking about this movie and how silly it was. I never saw it. I never saw it until right now. And that movie is full of plot holes, full of nonsensical plot devices, and completely void of gun safety. So let's watch Plan 9 from Outer Space. This movie is from 1959, so of course it starts out with a spooky narrator man, the wannabe Rob Sterling. Twilight Zone came out in 1959 as well, but this is nowhere near as cool as that, but it is pretty fun. This narrator man seems to be going off script a lot, and he just contradicts himself.
We are all interested in the future, what happened on that fateful day. And remember, my friend, future events such as these will affect you in the future, of the miserable souls who survived this terrifying ordeal.
Do these events happen in the future? Are they a warning from the past? Should we care at all? Let's find out together. Ed D. Wood Jr. I call him Double D. Double D Jr. was named the worst director of all time in 1980, which seems kind of fucked up because he had been dead for 2 years, so that's kind of petty. Were they scared of him? Did they not want to confront him about this? Did they not want to tell him that he sucked? Maybe he was scary. Maybe he was a scary guy. I'll find a picture of him. I'll put a picture of him right here. That's what I'll do. Well, I was not expecting him to be that handsome. That's for one. That's for sure. Look at that mustache. What a guy. I'm not scared of him at all, though. They should have given the award to him while he was alive and just been like, hey, fuck you, bud. The movies suck at. Also, I want to make a quick side note that Dick Cheney was the costume designer for this movie. That seems kind of crazy to me. From that to that movie starring Christian Bale, what a career. So the movie starts off, of course. That's stupid. Don't say that. So the movie has some quick setup. We get some backstory about an old man and his wife who died, kind of like Up, but it's not nearly as sad or as cutely animated. It's just like this.
All of us on this earth know that there is a time to live and that there is a time to die.
They end up in the graveyard for her funeral, which is where a lot of this movie takes place, and it's actually my favorite thing about this movie, and I'll come back to that because I'll show you in a minute why. Next, we meet cardboard airplane pilot Jeff. He's flying his cardboard airplane.
15 to 4. Yep, right on schedule.
What's really fun is he flies his cardboard airplane with his mind.
Holy mackerel.
We also get to see behind the curtain of his airplane, where there are apparently 35 passengers, and it is just an inky black void. And that's super fun to me.
I'm just checking in, hon. A little bit of turbulence. Oh, my.
We also finally see something I've been hearing about since elementary school. Something that had been described to me numerous times, but I don't think the descriptions did it justice. And that is the flying saucers in this movie. People always described them to me as hubcaps on strings, but something about actually seeing it myself is so magical. Look at these fucking things. Look at them. They're incredible. Look at them. And luckily, we get to see them a lot. They are in this movie quite a bit. Now we're back at the graveyard. I can show you why it's my favorite part of this movie. It is the graveyard that exists beyond time.
Behold, daytime, nighttime, daytime, and beyond all understanding, nighttime, daytime again, and night once more. Once we're introduced to this graveyard that exists within the singularity, there is a murder most foul. Oh, I know. Pretty intense stuff, right? And it's committed by the most famous person in this movie,
Vampira, who is this movie's biggest star. She's not in it very much at all. She was pretty famous during her day, and I had never heard of her. I only knew of Elvira. Elvira was just invented to replace Vampira when Vampira's show was canceled, and Elvira got sued by Vampira for stealing her act, and she didn't win, which is probably because Elvira Vampira is very difficult to say over and over and over again.
One of those pictures was Morticia Adams, but Vampira would have liked that.
Right after Vampira kills the Gravedigger guys off screen, her husband, the old man from the beginning, also dies. The narrator tells us the most metal thing about it.
The sky to which she had once looked was now only a covering for her dead body.
So we're at the old man's funeral, and the cops come because they find the bodies of the dudes that Vampira murdered, and they just look incredible. The cops leave the station at night, drive in the daytime, and then arrive, get out of the car, and it's nighttime again. Because remember, this graveyard exists beyond our understanding. So much so that when the chief or the inspector needs to look around, he has to get a flashlight out of the car, even though it was just daytime, like 10 seconds ago. We jump back to cardboard airplane pilot Jeff, and he's telling his wife all about the flying saucers, even though he can't say a word because he's muzzled by army brass and can't even admit he saw the thing.
But I can't say a word. I'm muzzled by army brass.
I can't even admit I saw the thing.
Meanwhile, back at the Anachronism graveyard,
Police chief gets got by Elvira and the old man, her newly zombied ghost husband. They are immune to bullets, but they are not immune to flinching at the sound of the blanks during production.
Oh, fuck. I can't believe you've done this.
Remember when I said that this world was void of gun safety? This cop comes and finds the dead chief, and he's just pointing his gun at himself, at everybody. He's using it to direct people around. Rule number 1 is don't point your gun at other people, ever. But actually, I did learn that the actor doing this disliked Double D, the director, and so he did this on purpose to see if he would notice, and Double D did not notice at all, and so it's still in there. How many years later? 63 years. 63 years ago, and we still have this footage, which is pretty great. It's been colorized and everything, and now here still we are. After they find the chief's body, they have a funeral immediately. I figure probably because they're in a graveyard already. There's a hole dug. Why bother with investigation or anything? Guy dropped dead, throw him in a hole. That's efficiency at its finest. I love it. I do also love that Zombie Vampira is just at his funeral. Or I like to think that nobody said anything because it was the 50s and they thought she was some kind of freaky goth girl and they just were scared and they didn't want to say anything to her. So they were just, get through this funeral, Charles, and don't say anything to the freak. They didn't care that she was a zombie. They cared that she was just different. After the funeral, we are just introduced to Colonel Edwards, or as I like to think,
as I live and breathe, Colonel Angus.
Oh, Colonel Angus, you old carpetbagger.
I know it's not the same words, but the way they say it, like Colonel Edwards, and he uses his stock footage army to fire on the flying hubcap UFOs for literally over a minute. I can't show you this whole clip because it is well over a minute long. And it's just stock footage of an army. But as we all know, hubcaps are indestructible. So the UFOs just fly away. And the aliens aren't even mad because, judging from the way they're dressed, they just got back from the Renaissance Fair. Everyone has fun at the Renaissance Fair. Their leader, the ruler, he has a cool robe with an axe and shield on it, which doesn't seem super alien to me, but maybe in the 50s it did. He is stoned out of his mind. That kind of explains his plan, which Plan 9 is going to save the Earth by resurrecting their recent dead, which of course makes perfect sense. And that's all the explanation any of us should need. I'm glad we're all on the same page. Moving on. I'm going to kind of gloss over a whole bunch of the middle of the movie because not a lot happens and it's just a lot of really slow, like, walking scenes or, like, just really drawn out nothing scenes. Captain Jeff locks his wife inside when he leaves.
You know I'm not leaving here until you're locked safely inside.
But she keeps the side door unlocked.
If you're especially nice, I may even lock the side door.
Colonel Angus might be rough.
The old man zombie breaks into a house, and there's a lady there who has the slowest reaction time of anybody ever. Also, the police chief is turned into a zombie, and there's this really cool shot of him getting out of the grave. It does seem like the actor was legitimately too fat to get out of this grave. So, apparently, the zombies are going to somehow stop humans from developing more and more powerful explosives. This is a post-nuclear bomb warning type thing, and explosive technology is just going to develop continually until they destroy the entire universe. And the aliens' magnum opus of this plan is showing the old man zombie karate chop a cop and then turn into a skeleton. This inspires Cardboard Pilot Jeff, a cop from earlier, and Colonel Edwards to go alien hunting. I learned that this movie had been produced and funded by a Baptist church. Not the Baptist church, but just like a church. I don't know if they were using their tithe funds. Number one, great use of church funds. I'm sure your congregation was super proud. I know I would be. And number two, I can't imagine the kind of stuff they cut out, but I am 100% sure that they blew 90% of their budget on just random radio equipment that's in this UFO set for the last 20 minutes of the movie. Most of the last 15-20 minutes of this movie are one of the aliens, who we learn is named Eros, going on a monologue about how the explosives are going to split atoms, and then sunlight is made of atoms, and so eventually they're going to split those atoms, and it'll cause a chain reaction that destroys the whole universe because the sunlight touches other sunlight, and and it just blows up everything. I don't know if you guys knew this, but sunlight is not made of atoms. Sunlight is a spectrum of waves made from solar radiation. I think they're electromagnetic waves, but I'm not a scientist. But there's no atoms. It's just waves. It's light. Who is the more advanced life form now? 1950s alien?
You see? Your stupid minds. Stupid!
Cardboard Jeff gets real frustrated and does, I think, what any of us would do, and he beats the shit out of Eros, the alien. And while he's doing so, his friends just run away and don't help him at all. During the fight, though, he lights the ship on fire, and they escape. And the other alien, the lady, she tries to fly the ship while it's on fire, which doesn't end well for them.
Holy mackerel.
That's it. That's the whole movie. That's the whole movie. There's a quick outro by the narrator from the beginning where he lists technology.
We once laughed at the horseless carriage, the airplane, the telephone, the electric light, vitamins, radio, and even television.
And I really like this list because, yeah, most of it makes sense, but they do just throw vitamins in there as if vitamins are just as spectacularly mind-blowing as the invention of the aeroplane.
Josh from the future here, and actually the airplane was invented in 1903, but the first vitamin was isolated and chemically defined in 1926. So I guess vitamins are more impressive, or at least more modern than airplanes. The more you know.
But that's it.
Holy mackerel.
That's the whole movie. Review number 1 of horror movies I haven't seen. And I actually sort of liked it. I watched it a whole bunch of times, and every time I found some new weird stuff to laugh at, and I learned a lot about its production. I found a forum with more than 500 little production mistakes. Is it a good movie? No, not even a little bit at all. Is it fun to watch? Mostly also no. There's a lot of nothing that happens for most of it, but there's some fun moments. It was kind of inspiring, weirdly though, because I get really hard on myself when I try to make a video. That's why I haven't made one in a long time. But Ed Wood, Double D, he did all this with just church donations, sheets, vitamins, and cardboard boxes. I know it's a really silly movie to start off my new horror movie journey. I'm excited to watch more and do this again. So if you have suggestions about movies I should watch, comment them, let me know. And if you liked the video, hit subscribe, hit like. If you didn't like the video, talk shit in the comments. Really trash talk me. And that's it.